Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the TraxionGG podcast. It's a very special one because joining us this week are many guests from the WRC Esports 2021 Grand Final. So stay tuned as we interview the drivers, the presenters and the organisers and give you the behind the scenes scoop.
Alright, just before we get on with the main bulk of the podcast, I'd just like to clarify that first you'll hear from the top 4 WRC esports drivers in the world. Izamusing, Noel, Nexl and Sami-Joe. They were the finalists in the 2020 competition a few weeks ago, and they were also the finalists at the 2021 final, which is the event we were at. I should also mention that you might be able to hear that a mask was mandatory in certain scenarios for me, and you can hear that sometimes in the audio, but it's still a good listen. Okay, thank you very much. On with the rest of the podcast.
All right, so we're here at the final of the 2021 Esports WRC Championship with Izamusing. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, slept well. It's been a pretty good event so far. There's been a lot of competitions going on with the Greece final and all of that. So, you know, we've got one new competitor against us for this afternoon. So, yeah, it's been a good morning so far.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware, we're inside the Olympic Velodrome building in the middle of Athens, which is pretty special. What do you think to the setup here?
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. I've never been to an Olympic venue before, so just seeing the velodrome and seeing something that, you know, I've watched the events on TV so much, especially with the past Olympics just happening a couple of months ago. And so to be here to look at an arena and see how massive everything is just incredible. And to have an event here at such a big scale that hasn't happened before is also just a proof of how things are developing and advancing rapidly in esports.
Yeah, I think it shows just how important the esports is for the World Rally Championship, right? Yeah. And we're also stood next to this lovely GR Yaris here, which could be yours in a few hours, right?
Hey, I'd like to think so. Never ruled it out.
That's like my dream car. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah, 4-wheel drive, I think 300 brake horsepower or something. Yeah. It goes pretty well, I'm told.
It's a good incentive because it's parked right next to where you'll be racing. Although I suppose when you're in the rally game, you'll not be looking elsewhere, right?
Oh, I'm sure I'll have time to have a quick glance or two, you know, remind me of what's at stake.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, there was the 2020 final, which is very confusing because we're in 2021, right? But that was because of the pandemic. It was delayed. It was still an in-person event. That was in Belgium. And you actually made it through to the final 4 there. So is the aim for the podium this time?
That's a good question, actually, because I've had a couple of issues with myself between the two finals. So coming into this final, my pace is a bit unknown. But hey, you know, I've done it before now, so I've got that experience behind me. So I hope to give it my best and get to the final. I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah, the thing with rally is some of these stages are very long. Anything can happen, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. One mistake and you can lose 10, 20 seconds. So it's all about pushing the limits, but also about staying consistent, staying on the road and being mindful of what your opponents are doing as well. Because you can have the best stage of your life, but if the others go faster or if you make a mistake, then it doesn't count for anything.
Yeah, and it's quite unique in the esports sense. Okay, if you make a mistake in circuit racing, it's still a mistake and you'll lose time, but I just think some of the time differences can be much bigger on the rally with the epic stages, especially, you know, 20, 30k stages. This is the first esports event within the new WRC 10 game. Have you had much time on the new platform?
No, because of the issues that I mentioned. Compared to the others, I've had quite a bit of time, but compared to the others, I haven't had as much time as them, which is why my pace is a bit unknown. But I've never, you know, I always stay optimistic. I'm going to, you know, push as hard as I can, if in doubt, flat out, and, you know, give it my best.
Nice. Well, I think we'll just about wrap it up there with Izamusing here. But just to say that on the TraxionGG website, there is a tips and tricks article for WRC 10 that he contributed to. So thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah, no worries.
And best of luck for the final.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So next up, we're going to speak to Noel for Race Clutch. How are you today?
Well, fine.
Yeah, so we're again on the stage here for the 2021 WRC Esports Final, next to the lovely Toyota GR Yaris there. Would you like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the goal. Huh?
So you finished 4th in 2019.
Yes.
And then 3rd in 2020 even, sorry. So are you going to finish 2nd in 2021 or are you going to go for 1st?
I'd like to go for 1st. The pressure, I left the pressure in Ypres My main goal was to score a podium once in my career in a world championship. It's done, so now it's sort of a bonus. So I'm here. I'm well prepared. We're more prepared than any other world final that I did. So for sure, second or first. First will be great. yeah, for sure.
How much practice have you had with WRC 10? Obviously, it's a new game. Is that a big challenge adapting to the newer platform? It's got slightly different physics.
Yeah, the physics are definitely different. You have to learn the stages from the previous game you already know, but with the new physics. Okay, every time is still a bit different. This time I had really a lot of time to train. I just had 2 days off to do other stuff, and the rest I was playing literally all day. All season I'm not practicing this much. I don't need and I don't feel I have to do this, but it's for World Final. I want to go for the first or second place, or at least a podium would be very nice. So I put a lot of effort in it.
Yeah, well, I think based on your previous results, and especially in 2020, which was confusingly a few weeks ago in Belgium, you certainly showed that you can win. What do you think about the competition here? Who's going to be your main rivals?
Sami-Joe, Nexl, and for sure Izamusing, I think.
Yeah, the same four who were in the final of 2020, right? So
that's my best.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Oh well, thanks for your time. I just want to ask you one final question, and that is, there are a lot of people here at this event from France, and Race Clutch is a French team. Why do you think it's so popular, WRC Esports, within France?
France
is it Sébastien Loeb, Sébastien Ogier, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. France is a rally country. Whatever you think, French is a rally country. A lot of drivers come from France. My passions come from Sébastien Loeb and Gilles Panizzi.
Gilles Panizzi, amazing. Good reference. The 306 Maxi, that was the car.
That's they were my idol when I was young. So I was following them in the World Championship. It gave me I just want to go in motorsport. For the moment, it's the closest thing I can afford. So I'm using this to develop my skills, show a bit myself, and maybe if I have an opportunity in the future, for sure I will go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you've made it here to an actual WRC event live on WRC.com and all those social media channels. So you're very, very close. So we'll leave it there, but best of luck for the competition.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we're with Nexl, from another person from Race Clutch.
Yep.
I mean, most people here are from Race Clutch by the side of things, which is cool. Now, you're a WRC Esports veteran, so what was the first year you competed in the competition?
So it was in 2016, so it was the first season of Esports WRC.
Was that in WRC 5 or WRC 6?
WRC 5.
Wow,
yep.
Wow. Early days then.
Yep, a long time ago.
And am I correct in thinking that you used a controller or a gamepad to compete in these early years?
Yeah, the 2 first years I played with controller, became champion in 2017. And I had to switch to steering wheel because organizers wanted to be more professional in a way. So I had to switch to get used to. And after I won in 2019 with a steering wheel, so I did both. So I'm happy.
So you're the only driver to win with a controller and a wheel. So you won in 2017 with a controller, correct? Exactly. And in 2019 you won again with a wheel. Yeah. I suppose that shows how more maybe realistic the game has come over the past few years as well, right?
Of course, always improving each year. So really, really impressive the jobs they did on each game, improving each time. It's really cool to witness that kind of things.
Yeah, what did it feel like to get you in 2017 when you won for the first time? That must have been pretty amazing.
Of course, I was fighting all year to get that place for final. And after being favorite, because I was MVP, so first in the championship, so really happy to beat with the controller every guy who was on steering wheel. So, yep.
And the 2020 event was recently. It was a very, very close battle between you and Sami-Joe. You finished second, which is an amazing result. So that's the third time you've been on the podium, I think, in WRC Esports.
Yes.
How was the 2020 event for you? How would you summarize it?
For sure, a bit, how to say, not how I want it to be.
No, well, you wanted to win, I suppose.
Of course, it's why I'm a bit tough with myself. But of course, it was a good result in a way. Just if your objective is to become champion and not succeed, it's something I don't like. So we'll take my revenge this year.
Yeah, well, we're here right now in Greece, and this is the moment. So in a few hours' time, you could add that Toyota to your Hyundai that you previously won, and that could be it. So I think it would be very, very close. Have you? How's the practicing and rehearsal and been for this 2021 event?
Well, it's a new game, so new physics and everything, so how to get used to it. So we had like less than 2 weeks because the game just got released.
Yeah.
So that's something you need to take in account. So we'll see who will be the best on this new game.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it's you or someone else, but either way, best of luck. It should be a good competition, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we're with Sami-Joe from Lebanon, 15 years old, and 2020 WRC Esports champion, which happened just a few weeks ago. So first of all, tell us about your experiences in Belgium. How was it? And you won a nice new Toyota.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, to be honest, in Belgium because it's my first esports event out of my country.
Yeah.
So it was hard to keep the confidence with me, and thankfully I believed in myself, and I brought myself a Toyota.
Yeah, that is such a cool car, and I'm very jealous. I think I've said that in every interview so far because we're stood near one. What a machine! So, if you win today, do you get a second one?
Yes.
Oh, two. Your GIRS is not bad.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. One small catch though with that, and that is how many years do you have to wait till you get your driving license?
Sadly, 2 years because I'm turning 16 in like 13 days. Right. So the driver license in Lebanon is like to 18 years old. Sadly.
Still, I think it's good enough to wait for, and amazing that you've got one in the bag at least. So for the 2021 final, which was using WRC 9 to qualify, you won 12 out of 13 qualifying rounds. Correct?
Yes.
How do you do that? That's a big question, but
yeah,
a lot of practice?
To be honest, in 2020 I was using PlayStation 4, and there was like an advantage from compared to PC compared to PS4. So I was struggling too much for pace to keep up with, for example, Nexl, and to win rallies. But thankfully, I became MVP 2020 with the PS4, and
incredible.
Yeah, and when I brought the PC in 2021, the confidence was much higher, and that's 12 rounds taken.
It's an amazing performance. I don't know how you'd keep up the motivation, but I suppose it's all good practice. Speaking of practice, have you had much time with WRC 10?
Yeah, WRC 10 is a new game now, so dedication will pay off in the finals. Sadly, this is not my turn to practice a lot because of the conditions that we're living in our country, Lebanon, today. We're having like 14 hours electricity cut every single day.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm struggling too much for the practice time, but at the end I'll get by and do my best.
I don't think you're the only person struggling with the power cuts, but I think quite a few people here said so far that they haven't had enough practice as they want. Maybe that's just an excuse because everybody's a bit nervous, but I've seen you and you're very, very quick. So I think, are you aiming for obviously the win, right?
Yeah, I'm fighting for victory, and yeah, I'll do my best. And if they say they don't practice a lot, we'll see that in the final.
Yeah, in a few hours' time. Oh, yeah. So, do you know what stages you'll be racing today before you come here?
They gave us 10 days before the traveling for the final. They gave us 51 stages. And
51.
Yeah, it's huge, and especially with my electricity cut issue in Lebanon, it's
51.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And
well, some of these stages are like over 20 kilometers in length, right? It's quite difficult to learn such a long stage.
yeah, of course, especially in epic stages, long stages. But and now now in the morning they draw the stages for qualifications, and they told us the final stages.
Right, okay. But I suppose you can't really practice anymore now, though, can you? That's it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we wish you best of luck, and we'll be watching.
Thank you for your time.
Well, now we're speaking to Grellet, Communications Manager at WRC Promoter. So he actually works for the WRC, as opposed to Nacon. But you have a relationship with them to help create this esports event. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's indeed correct. So we work really closely with Nacon on the delivery of all of the esports events during the year. We obviously are also hosting the official website for the Esports Championship, which this year consisted of 13 rounds. And I'm working within the communications team. My role is to be taking care of all of our esports related content.
That's cool. So we're talking right now, while the semi-finals are happening for the 2021 Esports WRC competition. The link between the real-life WRC and Esports WRC, it seems to be a strong one. And it looks to me like the WRC puts a big emphasis on the esports, because it's not only is it live on the internet, it's also live in person, and it's at the event, because we're at the real WRC event in Greece as well. So talk to me about the link and how important esports is to the WRC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at so many young people, that their journey or their discovery of the WRC has come through esports, or at least through the WRC, the game, before we had esports, if we're going to go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
And, we have had in the past, before Nacon came along, there were other producers, and there was Colin McRae Rally, for example. And we can't underestimate the popularity of that game at bringing new people to the WRC.
Well, like me, for example.
Yeah, like me as well. I grew up in New Zealand, and I knew what rally was. I grew up watching Possum Bourne, who was a famous New Zealand rally driver.
Yeah, hero.
Exactly. But when the Colin McRae Rally came along, that was really that next step to really bring us into the WRC community. And this was a long time before we had simulators coming along. Now that we've got simulators, what they're able to do on these machines, it's not too far away from what they're doing in the real cars.
Right.
And we know this. We see it with, for example, John Armstrong, who was the champion in 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Exactly. So we had Armstrong as the champion in 2018. He's now, at the moment, he's leading the junior WRC this year.
One round left, he could win it.
Exactly. So that would be a big win for British rally fans as well. And it's important that we have somebody like John, because that is bringing a lot of mainstream media attention back to rallying in the UK. And so we can also look at, right now, the FIA, they've started a new program, which is the FIA Rally Stars program.
Yeah, very interesting, that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Nacon would also be able to talk about that, because they're also involved heavily in this. But essentially what they want to do is they want to find the next rally star. And part of that program to find the next rally star is these kids start off on the simulators playing WRC, well, WRC 9 now, they'll be playing WRC 10 as the first step to be selected by their National Motorsport Federation to go on and, in the long term, get a chance to have a drive in the junior WRC and work their way up through the categories. So there's a clear synergy. I would say more here than in any other motorsport. And we also seen it now as well. We have Nacon as one of our esports sponsors and the provider of the wheels and the pedals. They've actually produced a special steering wheel just for this game. It is a proper size steering wheel.
You talk right there about the realism of the game has improved, the close ties and how you can use that as a springboard. But I also think it's just really pleasing to see a big mainline motorsport be keenly involved by looks things in esports. It's not treated as like a second-class citizen. This is a big event that's a big investment, and it's taken very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has been our strategy for at least going back the last 3 or 4 years now, is to bring these guys that have been working hard all year on winning the rounds, to bring them to the big event and to make it part of our event. And it's part of our WRC Plus program, which is our OTT platform. It is, as you can see, it's, as you mentioned, it's organised by the rally organisers as well. And we've been really fortunate here to be able to partner with the Greek local organisers, which have given us this incredible historic sporting event.
I know.
And it's fitting for a World Championship final to be here.
Yeah, it's a stunning location. I mean, we're talking now, and I can see the banking of the velodrome right there. It's amazing. And the event that's been put on, I must say, for everyone involved from the WRC side, from you represent, is spectacular. And I've really enjoyed, you have all through the WRC esports season on the main WRC.com website. There's reports of each round. There's even like a video review of each round. And if you're a WRC All Live subscriber, you can actually watch today the esports final on the native WRC platform. So yes, it's on the social media, but it's also where the hardcore rally fans are viewing as well, which is really satisfying for me as one.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this goes back to a little bit what we started with about this was our entry into your entry, my entry into the world of WRC, was starting off with the game and discovering the WRC through that. And so we're talking about bringing fans in from esport into the WRC, but it goes the other way as well.
Yeah.
And that is that we really do push everything that we're doing with esports. We push it through the main WRC social media channels as well, because we know that there's this crossover audience, and we know that more and more of these, let's say, hardcore WRC fans, they're seeing what the game is looking like. They're seeing the realism of it. They're seeing these incredible sim setups that we have from the likes of Playseat and from Nikon in terms of the steering wheels. And so they want to get this equipment, you know. They're seeing, as you said, how much closer it's getting to reality, and they want to have that experience at home.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Well, we'll just keep it brief. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
But I'm assuming you're also very busy on the actual WRC Greece event this weekend, so you're going to have a long weekend.
Yeah, this is a big one. I mean, yeah, it is always awesome to have the esports on site, and it's really important to bring the two together, but it does make for a crazy week.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes it fun for the fans at home. That's the main thing.
Yeah, there's a lot to watch if you're a fan at home. So, well, best of luck with everything esports and WRC.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
All right, so joining us now is Seb Waxin.
Yep.
Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yeah, perfect.
You're too kind. From Nikon. And you are the Senior Racing Marketing Project Manager. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
So what's your general day-to-day role within Nikon? Focused on racing games, is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. I'm working at Nikon for 10 years now. I would say that I grew up with the license, the WRC license, from the moment that we took it. It started with the distribution only in France, Benelux and Germany of the WRC game when Milestone was still the publisher. Then we got the license.
So right from the beginning then? Long time?
Yeah, right from the beginning. So we were doing the marketing at that time only, and the distribution, of course. And then we got the license. In 2014, we started to work with Kiloton on WRC 5, and then we released almost every year the WRC series, and I've been working on the marketing stuff on the WRC license from that period, and I'm in charge of the all the other racing games. So we just released Rims Racing. In the past we made TT Isle of Man. All
coming soon. Test Drive.
Exactly. Test Drive is part of that. I should say that, but it's the biggest projects that we currently have, and especially for racing.
Yeah.
WRC is really, 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 really interesting, but Test Drive is something else. It's different. Open world, a lot of expectations, so it's a very big project.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see some gameplay sometime soon, maybe? No, you can't say. Okay.
I cannot say.
Yeah, that's okay, that's all right. I'm only kidding. All right, so in the background, I can see, at least 9 sim rigs in use. Some semi-finals have just happened, and they're going to continue in a few minutes, I believe. I've also seen you running around like crazy all day. So what's your role at the 2021 WRC Esports Grand Final?
Yeah, so esports started in 2016 with WRC 5, and we at the beginning we wanted to create a championship, like virtual championship, which runs in parallel to the official championship. So each time you have like an official round of the WRC, we wanted to have the same virtual round. So we created that championship with WRC 5, and then the championship evolved quite a lot with a team championship. Now we stretched a bit the calendar just to make the final event on a real WRC event, just to also for the drivers that are there to feel the atmosphere of what is a WRC. Tomorrow, for example, we will go to see a rally stage just to see some real cars. So today it's virtual, tomorrow it's for real, I would say. They won't be driving, but it will be interesting for them to see the real cars. And my position here is to, like during all the year, it's to manage and make sure that everything is under control with the esports season.
Is it under control today?
Yeah, so far, yes.
Okay, good, okay.
I would say that we are like maybe 2 minutes late, but 2 minutes is nothing, so that's perfect.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, and here on an event like that, my role is like kind of supervisor, I would say, just to make sure that everything is going well, that the players are happy as well, that we don't have any technical issue, that we don't have anybody trying to cheat. It does not happen, but we need to check. We need to make sure.
Is that why in the semi-finals there's someone stood watching each driver? Is that just to make sure everything is legit?
Yep, exactly. And it's just to make sure that we have like the right times at the end of the stage.
Oh yeah, of course. Just to double check.
We collect the right data. Yeah, it's a kind of double check. And yeah, on an event like that, the level is so high that you cannot do any mistake as the organizer. So it's very important to be sure and like 200% sure of what you do every time. So when we have the result, then we check everything. The computers are also like recording the results and stuff like that. So yeah, we need to anticipate on any issue that we could have. So far, everything goes well.
Yeah.
Everything goes well, so it's fine. I will be a bit more relaxed tonight when the final will be done.
Tomorrow morning when you've had a good sleep.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
Okay, and yes, so the final is only 4 drivers, correct? So there's certainly 4 favourites that were in the 2020 final, but I think, judging what I've seen so far, actually anyone could do it, because I believe that there's at least 50 stages or over 50 stages that could be used during the event, right? And they don't necessarily know what's going to happen in the semi-finals or final until they're there. So really, it's anyone's game, right?
Yeah, the idea is to keep a bit of like suspense and surprise for the event. So we don't want to give them like the full list of stages that we will use during the event, like 10 days before, because they will learn the stages by heart, and there is no like less things can happen when they don't know, and we give them let's say 50 stages. Out of the 50 stages, we pick like 12 stages.
Right.
So, but they don't know exactly on which stage they need to train. So that's.
I think that's just been proven, because just behind you, someone just had a crash. So they're going again now, but clearly not everybody memorizes every single corner.
It's training, so they can crash.
Yeah. So most people, actually, I wasn't going to ask this, but looking at the drivers, they seem to be using the cockpit cam. Can they use any view that they want, though?
No, we stick to keep, and especially for when the game is broadcasted, even if we use the spectator mode just to keep the immersion at the highest level, we try to put them in like almost real conditions. They don't have like the fear to crash and stuff like that, but we want to offer the experience as close as possible to what it is to drive a rally car. So the dash cam is good for that, and the cockpit view is good also.
Yeah, cool. And everyone's got the same identical setup, right?
We want to keep the competition as fair as possible by like giving exactly the same stuff, same configuration for every player. So we are not in a configuration where they all come with their stuff and they set up their stuff.
Right.
Sim racing, sometimes that happens, but on our side we give them the full setup, and they play with that one.
Right. So what I really want to know is who's the quickest in WRC 10 out of the people here that are organising it who work for Nikon. Is it you?
No, I'm not.
Is it Lou sat in the corner laughing?
Yeah.
No?
No, I would say that unfortunately I don't have the time to train a lot. So.
Too busy organising the event.
Yeah, but Gilles, the junior project manager, is quite good.
Oh,
Maybe he
okay.
has a bit more time.
Oh, okay.
I should give him more work,
Yeah.
more work to do.
Nice. Okay, well, thanks very much for your time, Seb. It's a pleasure to speak to you and be at this event. I can't believe we're actually here in a different country, you know. A lot of challenges to run a esport event in the current climate, so congratulations. And we're sat looking at the big, impressive trophy, and we can see the winning car over there, so to the best player goes the spoils.
Yeah. Good luck to them. And the level we saw 3 weeks ago in Ypres for the 2020 final is there also for the 2021 final. So I cannot wait to watch the grand final tonight.
Yeah, let's hope that the final is just as close as that one, because that was truly spectacular. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we've got Alain Jarniou. Is that pronounced correctly?
That's correct, yes,
Yeah.
Alain Jarniou.
From Nikon, and you are the WRC 10 game director, but also you are you have a broader role within KT Racing, correct?
Yeah, I'm creative director for Kiloton KT Racing that covers the WRC series, but also games like we make Tourist Trophy game, and then we are making Test Drive Unlimited game also. So all the and the future project of the company.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a very important job. This is mainly about WRC, but I would just like to say I'm looking forward to the next test drive game, Unlimited Solar Crown. Hopefully we'll see more next year. But anyway.
I can't talk about it.
No, I know. But the trailers and stuff looks very good at the minute from Nikon Connect and stuff like this. So we're speaking now in Greece, in Athens, which first of all is amazing with the world at the minute. So it's amazing that we've got this event happening.
Yes.
And secondly, the drivers in the esports competition for the WRC are practicing currently.
Yeah.
So what's your opinions on the WRC esports event? Are you really proud to see the game that you've worked on be used for a big tournament like this that the real life WRC is affiliated with?
Yes, it's really a pleasure to see that all those players, drivers, I would say hardcore gamers that really love this game and spend time on it and becomes experts of the game, and to that level, the level of esports. So that's very, I would say, that satisfying, and we are very proud of being able to provide a game with such a level of competition, which is, of course, in the genes of the game, of the series WRC, because it's a rally competition, and then we can have this level of competition with the game in this racing genre. So it's very impressive to see the guys, the quality of the play, of their driving. So that's very nice, and that's something that we are doing for some years. And this, we started with WRC 5. We made an esports season until the WRC 5, and then today, if you can see, the place is just amazing. It's a big place. It's a big organization. There's lots of people involved in it, and I think it's really a great event. And we are seeing great champions today.
Yeah, it's going to be a close competition. I wouldn't like to bet any money as to who will win, but we're just sat opposite, for those listening, Sami-Joe, who has just won a few weeks ago the 2020 version, and he won a lot of the qualification rounds, so he must be one of the favourites, but there's a huge amount of talent. Just on the esports drivers, do you get any feedback from them, when you're developing the game?
So when we are developing the game, you can imagine that it's we don't want to bother them while they are competing in the previous version, but we get feedbacks from them. At least when the days like today, when they finish a season with the game, WRC 9 for this competition, and then they play the final with WRC 10. So they have to adapt. They have to spend time to feel the new car dynamics, the physics, the way they have to drive, the new stage and stuff like that, and then we can get feedback from them. So that's very important, and we try to get the feedback, on the comments, so social network, all this stuff. It's very important for us, and also real drivers, actual drivers. Like this year, we make a test with Sébastien, which is obviously the best champion in the category, and in racing. And he give us feedback about the game. He's not a gamer. He's not someone that plays a lot on video games, but
he's very experienced behind the wheel.
He's very experienced behind the wheel, and then he told us, I'm not a gamer, so I try the game and I tell you, but it's not really my stuff. But then he tried WRC 10 and he says, that's very good. I feel I get the right sensation, the good feelings when I'm driving, and I get something that is very close to what I feel when I am in a car. So that was, like
a big honor.
To say that. All right, so that's why on WRC 9 we already have very good feedback from the players. But this time it's a world champion, so it's very nice. So we probably think that we are at the top level in terms of simulation and driving sensations.
Yeah, I must say, from my personal opinion, WRC 9 was a big step forward in the feedback and the sensation of driving, and I really enjoyed the sensation of driving in that game more than the previous WRC games that you made. And WRC 10 builds upon that, which is very pleasing. I really enjoy the driving experience. I'm assuming it must be very pleasing, well, you've already said it's pleasing to see that your game is used for a big event, but the WRC is not just saying, okay, here's the esports event, it's going to be broadcast online. Okay, it is online as well, but it's actually at the WRC events during the weekend. So it must show a good collaboration with the WRC and KT Racing, correct?
Yeah, we are working with WRC Promoter, which is the company, people that are in charge of organizing all the rally season. And we work with them from now more than 7 years for the first WRC we made, which was WRC 5. And it's a matter of confidence. We learn how to work together, and then I'd say confiance en anglais. Tu dis comment? Confidence. With the confidence, it takes time, but I think really we work together very close now. So it's fundamental for us to get all the information about the season. We try to reproduce all the cars, teams, all the specification, regulations, the most precisely possible. So with their feedback, it's great. So we've got good relationship for that, but also things that was not used to be in a WRC game, like historical cars that we put from WRC 8. So we try to get all the cars that won at least once the WRC championship, and we will manage to get all those cars in our WRC games, and that's with the discussion and the good relationship we've got with them that make it possible. It's not just only, which is of course the main focus is the current season with the current team and cars and so on, but also be able to talk more about the competition and its history. That was something that many rally fans were asking for.
Definitely me.
Like Subaru and
the Subaru is cool.
All the cars, so they are in the game now. So this is something that can happen because we have very good relationship with WRC Promoter. This year also we've got the livery editor, which is a very cool feature, of course, in a racing game, but that's also be able to change the livery of the car of the season was also not something obvious for so this is because we have good relationship with them. We are very careful about how we can make it so you don't put the wrong brand on the wrong car, stuff like that, which is very important.
Discussion involved to get that feature.
Once we are okay and we are okay on the limits, then we can. It opens to content made by the player that is huge and very entertaining, and that's very cool. So that's because we have good relationship with them for years. That these kind of things can come in the game.
Yeah, and it's that relationship helps the players at the end of the day, right? Because then you can do more things like anniversary mode and livery editors and stuff like this. So that's really cool. So WRC 10 is out now. Is okay, and we were saying that there's still free updates coming for it. Just quickly on, I mean, I know WRC 10 has just come out, but I'm assuming that the team is already working on what's coming next, because in the real world WRC next year, there's going to be hybrid vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you have a relationship going on, and the teams are just not finished these cars yet. But that's going to be a really interesting, different thing for the players, I think, as well, right?
Yeah. That's they made a regulation change. It was for WRC 8 some years ago.
Yeah, with the big wings and spoilers and the crazy aero.
That was already a nice change in terms of gameplay, of course, but in terms of the competition also. And this next year, it will be a new step in this kind of. So it's new cars, it's new performance, it's new rules for the competition and new gameplay for the game. So that is very, very interesting. So it opens new things, like, of course, in the driving experience, but also in the career mode and all this kind of stuff that can be taken in account for hybridation and all this stuff. So this is very, very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do for next year's game, and I'm really enjoying this year's game, which is out now. So, Alain, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And enjoy the esports event.
Thank you very much, Tom.
We have a WRC champion 2021 now crowned, Nexl. Congratulations, how are you feeling?
Thank you. Really happy for sure. 3-time world champion. That was my objective, and I did it. So really happy.
Yeah. Could you tell me about the tyre strategy in the final stage? So the final stage was in Croatia, asphalt, started dry, then torrential rain at the end. But you were on the slick tyres, right?
Yeah, I was on the slick tyres, and most of the stage was on the rain, so it was a difficult choice to do. But we managed with the team to get the right strategy, and it worked really well. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it just goes to show that even in rallying, there's team work and strategy involved, right? And I believe your team colleague Noel was inspirational with the tyre choice.
Yeah, we worked together to know what specific tyre was the best for the stage, because we knew the stage just before. So we did some tests, and apparently it was the soft. So credits to him again for the win. So yeah.
Well, it also takes your driving skill as well to pull it off. So Nexl, you're a 3-time Esports WRC champion. How good does that sound?
Really good, I guess.
Yeah, not too bad. And what sounds even better is this GR Yaris is now yours. So where's the first place you're going to drive in it?
I don't know yet. I didn't think of it.
Some good roads in France.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Down to Monte Carlo or somewhere, I don't know.
Will be very cool, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations again. Won't keep you long. But very well done. Excellent driving.
Thank you.
Well, that just about wraps it up for the TraxionGG podcast from Greece, Athens, at the WRC Esports 2021 Grand Final. If you hear background noise, I'm sorry. I'm at the actual WRC event, the live super special stage in Athens. But if you've enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe on YouTube. Comment below if you've been playing in WRC games and what you'd like to see from WRC games and esports in the future. And for now, I'm going to leave you with the sweet, sweet sound of a WRC car going full attack. Thank you. Keep it pinned.